Chig from Guna Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is the preview for the classic, the Banter FC final. It's Man United versus Arsenal. And I think in order to give this some gravitas, some style, some substance, I had to bring on two of my favorite people on for this. And that is, first of all, the legend that is Claude. Claude, say hello to the people.
Good evening, but I don't know about legend, mate. But thank you anyway.
Damn right, you're a legend. Damn right.
Probably leggings. A lot of people say.
And then, of course, one of my favorite people, my brother, Stel. Say hello to people, Stel.
Hello to the people. How is everyone?
There you go. So it is an important game for both teams. Both managers under a certain amount of pressure. Claude, I have to start with you first because I actually don't know your opinion on him, and that is Mr. Granit Xhaka. He was made captain officially yesterday. I don't know your opinion. No, not on him. Not on him. I don't know your opinion. What do you think of the announcement? I'm genuinely. Do you know what? Because funny enough, I was talking to Lee about it yesterday. I said, "Oh, I'm having Claude on tomorrow," and I said, "You know what? I actually don't know his opinion on Xhaka." Then Lee was like, "Ask him." So I've got to ask you, what is your opinion on Granit Xhaka?
Well, let me tell you, it's not a million miles away from Lee. Yeah, listen, he won the Arsenal raffle. I mean, I see he won the Arsenal raffle with the captaincy. I'm not happy about it. No, I don't know why he's got the captaincy. I think he's gonna. I don't know. I just don't understand it. I don't know. I can't understand why he's playing. Never mind why he's captain, but I don't know what it'd be interesting to hear what Neutral thinks about him from Manchester. There, I would like to hear what he thinks because I can't see it with him. To be honest with you, Chris, I don't know about you, but I can't see it.
Well, funnily enough, this was an actual interesting question because 2 years ago, Stel was a big fan of Granit Xhaka. He was trying to convince me he was a good player. So I actually want to know, Stel, has your opinion changed? Do you still rate Granit Xhaka?
I rate him as a footballer, as in someone that can use the ball. I don't rate him as a defensive midfielder and someone that you rely on to win the ball back because he can't do it at all. No. His comments the other day after the Watford game, I was astounded by it. For him to say that Arsenal players were scared. Now, I don't know whether... I mean, you can't even say it's the language barrier. You can't say it's the way that he interprets these things because his English is probably better than mine, to be fair. So it obviously speaks volumes as to what he sees in the background, and that's obviously upset a lot of Arsenal fans because he shouldn't be saying that. I can't imagine any other Arsenal captain past, like your Vieiras, like your Adams, all these other players. I can't imagine any of them ever saying that. But as a footballer, I think he's a good footballer. And I will reiterate what I said a long time ago. The reason why Wenger signed him is because he admires ball-playing midfielders. He wanted Carrick years ago before he joined United. And they're in a very similar mould. So I can see why he was signed. He obviously hasn't worked out at Arsenal. But let's be 100% honest. If you look at the signings Arsenal have made in the past few years, United have made in the past few years, which ones have actually really done well? How many? I think the percentage of players that have done bad compared to that have done better is much greater, to be fair. And that goes for both teams.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. Claude, where do you think we're at the moment? Obviously, we just had 2 wins. I mean, I put in the title that, this is almost the kind of Banter FC Cup, like which team has just declined worse. And I guess because we've had those 2 wins, a lot of people are saying in the chat, don't put us on the same level as United. What's your opinion? Because you're known for your hard opinions on these sort of things. And to be honest, more often than not, I tend to agree. Where do you think we're at in terms of the manager, where we're at in the league, how confident are you that we're going to make the top four?
So can you go again, Chris, mate? You keep cutting.
Oh, sorry. It might be my fault. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go again, because I don't know what's going. I can't. You keep cutting out. Can you go again? Sorry, mate.
No, sure. No problem. I was just going to ask you, like, where do you see us are standing in the league at the moment? Do you feel as though how can I put it? Do you feel as though like how important? Let me put it another way. How important do you see Monday's game being between the two teams of Man United and Arsenal?
Chris, it's a bit early actually to be making, because we've got it's a long way to go, and a lot can happen between now and the end of the season. So it's a bit too early to say that it's going to be really significant on Monday, whatever the result is. How I see Arsenal at the moment, I could say Jekyll and Hyde, really, at the moment. We can produce it for spells in the game, and then we do silly things and give silly goals away. I don't think our midfield combination at the moment is right. I don't think he knows his proper midfield combination. To me, is the most important thing. Everyone is going on about the defence, but if the midfield is not working properly in front of them, it makes it much harder for the defence. It'd be interesting to see, once Holding, Tierney, and Bellerin are back, how we will play. But even when they're back, I still think that midfield combination needs to be sorted out properly. Who do we play? Do we play Torreira there? Do we play Xhaka at the base of the midfield? Do we play them both there and play just Ceballos in front of them? I don't know. Do we give Willock a chance? I don't think even Emery knows at the moment, and that's the problem. And the only good thing at the moment is that the other teams, Chelsea, Man United, are not exactly
setting the world alight.
Chelsea are a very inexperienced side at the moment, so they're going to be up and down as well. And Manchester United are in a bad way as well. So I'm hearing a lot of things from Manchester United that they really are in a mess, and there's a lot of disruption in their squad with players being unhappy and everything like that. So it's going to be a scramble, I think, for these places. I think who makes the least mistakes will make top four, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Stel, what's going on with United at the moment? Because I must admit, I saw their team last weekend. I was like, wow, it's like really bare at the moment. I suppose you got a lot of injuries, sure, but is that the only thing that's affecting them, or is it the classic case of Ed Woodward?
Stel Claude strikes again, doesn't he, Chig?
No, that's why I set the question up.
I've been on your show on numerous occasions, and I don't intend on repeating myself because it gets boring. But the first time I came on your show, I was like, things are going to get worse before they get better. I was telling you players like Herrera weren't good enough, Valencia weren't good enough, Phil Jones weren't good enough, Chris Smalling weren't good enough, Kebab Boy weren't good enough. And again, I'm being proved right. But you see, this is the thing, right? You can bring in the most overqualified managers. You can bring in managers that have been there and done it, which we've done twice, right? And only, Van Gaal won the FA Cup and Mourinho won 2 trophies. But did we really kick on? Did we really improve? No. So where does the problem lie? Well, you can say it lies with the players because they're the ones that are on the pitch. They're the ones who are training. Those are the ones with the supposed winning mentality, the ones that are doing the job. But if you're allowing your players to rule the roost, which is what's been happening for a very long time, who is to blame? Well, if the manager's hands are tied, then where do you look? Well, you look upstairs, don't you? You look at Ed Woodward, who brought in Paul Pogba, even though Mourinho didn't want him. You look at a man that wants to sign marquee players so that he can boost his own profile, even though he was the one that brokered the Glazers deal to buy the club. So you look at him. You look at Ed Woodward telling Mourinho that we weren't going to go for Alderweireld because he felt that defensively we had better options there. Who, by the time we had Jones, Smalling, Rojo, Bailly, Well, you mean to tell me Alderweireld isn't better than any of those? But again, I'm a broken record. Shall we talk about Di Maria, who didn't want to join United? He was just parked at United because Paris Saint-Germain wanted him and because they had to get over FFP. That's why they got him. But, again, Ed Woodward, I've signed this player because he can brag to his mates at dinner meetings. But see, this is the problem. What happens when Ed Woodward isn't around? Who is in charge of the club? It's the owners. The owners that have, albeit they've sanctioned over £900 million worth of signings, and it's not their fault that they haven't worked out because they're the ones that have sanctioned it. But again, it's what I go back to what I said on Ryan's podcast yesterday. It's throwing shit at a wall and hoping that it sticks, and that's what we've been doing in the transfer window. But let's go back to the Glazers, the guys that have spunked over £1.2 billion of the club's money on interest repayments on the debt, which isn't paid off because, contrary to what many believe, we're not 200 million in debt. It's £511 million we're in debt. £511 million. But guess what? The commercial revenue, what's happening there now? Tell me what's happened. Because it's hit a brick wall. They're fucked. They are truly fucked because people ain't investing in United anymore. Why? Because we're not winning games, because we're shit. It's that simple. That's why they're selling their shares. But they're selling shares that aren't voting shares. So anyone that buys the shares have got no say in anything. So they're very smart. They're going to try and generate $400 million, which will probably end up at Tampa Bay Bucks, or will probably end up in their malls or maybe in their pockets, because that's what those leeches do. They're leeches. So yeah, it's a very long-winded problem. I think I've gone on about this long enough, but there are problems from top to bottom, mate. I mean, I'm not even going to get started on the manager because, as I said a long time ago, he was on hiding to nothing the moment he agreed to take that job, even from a caretaker perspective. So yeah, until those owners sell up, which I don't think they're going to do anytime soon, even though the Saudis are still interested. Yeah, I think it's going to be Manchester United.
Okay. Lots of people are interested in what you think of the kind of sales of the shares, which you kind of touched on, and obviously Woodward himself. I think where I see both of us aligning in terms of where we stand as teams is we're in danger, both teams, Arsenal and United. And people might look at Arsenal's position and think I'm overreacting. But I think we're in danger of both teams of potentially losing our status in their top four to someone like a Leicester City, for example, who are just hanging around, waiting for one of us to not make this top four. And I think they're consistent enough that they may actually do it. What do you think about that, Claude? Are you worried? Are you watching your back? Are you worried about the teams behind us? Claude?
What worries me that more, you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Is that we're falling behind the top tier, the top two, and we're going further and further back rather than closing the gap on them. So that's what's more worrying to me. I think the other sides I think we can deal with because I don't think they have the resources to keep that up. But it's the gap between us, Man City, and Liverpool that worries me more. So I don't see that closing very soon.
Agreed.
That's what's more worrying.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. I mean, it's just honesty, you know. I can see literally
no.
Both of your moves kind of capture almost the feeling.
Yeah. Can you hear me properly? Sorry, mate. It's just that
I can do. Yeah, I can do.
Oh. No, what I was just trying to say is that the big gap, that's the most worrying for me, is the big gap that's developing now between Manchester City, Liverpool, and the rest of us. And I can't see it closing very soon unless real work gets done behind the scenes. And
Agreed.
Well, Chick, I don't think it's any coincidence that Liverpool and Man City are miles away from everyone because they've got a fantastic structure there. They've got owners that care about on the pitch results, not just off the field. They've invested in the academy. They've trusted the manager, right? And they've basically signed players that these managers want. You know, you tell me one player that City have brought in that Pep Guardiola doesn't want, or Klopp. All these players that these managers have signed, they want them. You don't see, Sheikh Mansour turn around saying, okay, well, I'm going to sign Di Maria, or I'm going to sign this one. No, the manager wants these players. They bring him in. Begiristain be working in the background, do what he's got to do. Same with Liverpool. So what happens? They've got owners that care about on the field and off the field activity. But on the field is obviously more important because that's what generates that commercial revenue. People, sponsors are going to want to sponsor Liverpool and Man City. They're going to want to put their name in the, in the club shop and all these other places. Right now, what United are doing, if you look at all the corporate sponsorships that we've got, I don't know about Arsenal, but these are like mid to lower tier companies, man. What's that petrol company we got? Golf or whatever they're called? I fucking haven't seen them anywhere. We might as well be sponsored by Skull pretty soon. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Match partners and mobile phone partners from Azerbaijan. What the fuck, man? I mean, this is just bollocks. That's the way the game's gone for clubs like United and Arsenal. And the difference between, as I said before, United and Arsenal and all these other teams like Liverpool and City is that they've got owners who care, whereas our ones, it's sad to say it, they're just more about generating revenue more than anything, and that's the way it's going to be, unfortunately.
All right, so I mean, let's take the focus on the managers before we talk about the game. Obviously, both of our managers are really under a lot of pressure at the moment. I'll come to Claude because I know I got an idea of what Claude thinks about the manager already. But in terms of yourself, Stel, where are you at with Ollie at the moment?
Well, contrary to what many people think, I was never one of these people to say Ollie's at the wheel. I thought when he
weren't. I never saw you say that on Twitter or anything.
Because listen, with the greatest respect to the guy, what has he done? He won the Norwegian title with Molde. Okay, fair enough. But he came to the Premier League with Cardiff, and they went down. Now, I'm not saying that he was going to work miracles and keep them up, but listen, he came in, there was a new manager bounce. A lot of the players, he knew already. Pogba and Lingard, he coached at reserve level and whatnot. So we kind of expected there to be a new manager bounce, especially after the way that everything happened with Mourinho, the way that it all transpired with him falling out with players and all that kind of stuff. So we knew that they're going to turn it on for a bit. And we had that fantastic result at Cardiff. We went on a fantastic winning run. All right, we lost to PSG, but then we bounced back and we fluked that second leg. I still don't know how the fuck we won it, but we did. But then everything kind of turned out how I expected it to happen. The moment we got a severe loss, which was against you guys, it's almost as if it deflated everyone. Then you start seeing little things here and there, like his lack of ideas. And everything just got snowballed out of control. I mean, we've won 4 games in 20 now. I mean, that's abysmal. But I will repeat what I said yesterday on Ryan's show again. We're not doing the basics at all. And I don't mean the basics isn't the hard work, because that's a given. Players have to be working hard. But little things like being first to the second ball. How many times don't we get anywhere near that second ball? Little things like when you're counter-attacking or when you're on the ball, when you're playing against a team that's defending deep, getting into pockets of space. Every team does that when they're going forward, apart from Norwich City do it so bloody well. Norwich City, they play better football than us. But it's the basics. Now, do we have the players? I mean, that's a fair question. We do and we don't. I still don't rate Rashford. I still don't rate Martial. I still don't rate David De Gea. Remember this conversation we had about De Gea?
Yep, I remember. And you know what? Another one you called a bit early, but you called it. I will say that.
Right? But little things here and there. We've got players with ability, yes, but having just basic ability isn't enough. You're talking about Man United Football Club, and this isn't a divine right to win things. It just shows how far we've fallen from grace, that we're having to rely on a 17-year-old striker to come in and do a job because we're so inept in the transfer market at the moment. It just smacks of desperation. But as for Ollie, he's got a lot of learning to do. Now, as far as I'm aware, he's their long-term guy. They reckon that he's going to be here longer than Mourinho, but I highly doubt that if the results continue to be like this. Edward came. Pardon?
Do you think he'll last past Christmas?
I said it on my show. He won't make it till Christmas.
I've said that all along as well. I just don't get that feeling.
But that's not because of him. Okay, so it's not because of him as a manager. We can see what he's doing off the pitch. He works well with the players, but it's a results game, Chig. It's a results game. And, at the end of the day, if we lose to you guys, on Monday, which I think we will, but we'll go into predictions in a bit, I guess. I give him 3 games max. 3 games to turn something around. We've got AZ Alkmaar on Thursday. If we lose that one, then that's what, 3 defeats out of 4 and a draw against bloody Rochdale. I mean, come on, this is shocking. I mean, I don't even think Ron Atkinson had a bad time. You know, Claude will remember. I don't think Sexton had it that bad. I think McGuinness had it that bad. Fuck, like, honestly, it's dreadful. It's dreadful. But you know what football's like. You know, all it takes is one decision, like a Mark Robbins goal, and it changes the whole course of history. I don't think it's going to happen. But hey, here's to holding on to their fucking life.
Or making Granit Xhaka captain.
Well, who's our captain? Who's our captain?
Everyone says that.
Go ahead, say that again.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah.
I mean, as you said, as the guy just said, what's it come to? We used to think of Vieira and Keane, and now it's was it how do you pronounce his name? McTominay and Xhaka on Monday night. How times have changed, eh?
Oh man.
Jeez.
Well, I see your Xhaka and I raise you a Pereira.
Right? Yeah, I think Manchester United, the club they are, have got more chance of coming back again, more quick as well. You know, I just feel that they've got the resources to do it. Eventually, I don't know. I think Solskjaer may not be there next season. They'll possibly get someone like Allegri in next season, and they'll come again. I think.
But this is what I was told, Claude.
Yeah.
This is what I was told. I was told the other day that we've actually spoken to Allegri twice. It was once after the West Ham game and once before, and they're already looking at him to come in. And well, if I know this, then surely Ollie knows this. So what's that saying? I mean, how can you have a long-term plan with a person, even though you're saying that we're going to stick with him, we've got a plan, and all of a sudden you're finding out that he's talking to, you know, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Also, there's possibility of Pochettino taking over as well. I mean, I don't think everything is very good at Spurs. I mean, at the moment at Spurs, I know they won today as well, but I think there's a lot behind the scenes going on there as well. So he could be a possibility to take over there. With Arsenal, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, what do you say, Chick? Do you give this guy now till if we're still, say, a few points off the top 4? Me personally, I think even if he gets top 4, I've got to be honest with you, Chris. I think we need to go elsewhere. I don't think this guy can take us higher than that. To be honest with you.
I'm with you, and I'm not quite as far as you down the kind of Allegri needs to go. Sorry, Allegri, if only. Emre needs to go line yet, but I just don't see someone to me who will make ruthless enough decisions to take us to the title, which is ultimately what we want. I mean, I know people snigger at the idea and think, oh, we're years past it, and we are at the moment. Don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about even in 3 years' time. I don't see that in him. That's just my opinion. I've always said for me that when I saw Emre come in, I thought, right, okay, this is a good stopgap manager. 2 years, take us back into the Champions League, and then we actually go and get someone we want.
Exactly, like we did with Bruce Rioch. Remember, we got him for 1 year.
It's sad, but yeah, we're kind of putting him in that sort of category.
No, hold on. No, that's what happened with Bruce Rioch. But after 1 year, we got 4th, but we done the right thing. We went further. We decided to change.
True. Yeah,
but
true.
This lot wanted to go another year because I mean, I'm sorry, Chris. But after we lost that cup final and the way our season collapsed, right? How he instilled, and I still don't understand how it was not questioned at all. And our fan base, most of our fan base weren't questioning him either. There's only a few of us, people like me, that were questioning it, and I couldn't understand that because to me, those last 8 games, I mean, you got Crystal Palace at home, Brighton at home. Yeah, we got 1 point from them 2 games, mate. All we needed was one more win to get top 4. The minimum requirement should have been top 4 last season. Yeah, and what we failed.
Yeah,
because we put it all into the cup final. He put everything into the cup final, and what happened in the cup final? They embarrassed us.
Yeah.
And to think that Chelsea, who already for the Champions League final, wanted it more on the day than us, tells you a lot, mate.
Yeah.
We need a manager. We need a coach that gets the right mentality in these players, because I can't see a good mentality in our players. Because if they all voted for Xhaka, that says a lot for me about the mentality of this squad.
Yeah. It's sad because I can't quite bring myself to say Emery out, but I can't disagree with a lot of the things you're saying. I can't. The idea that we absolutely capitulated against Chelsea in a final that we should have won, should have steamrolled, should have been motivated to win. A team that were falling apart with their previous manager, and we absolutely got slapped. And that was my first, okay, maybe the manager isn't right for us. That was my first doubt, was that final. And now I'm at the point.
Have you guys seen progress with this guy? Because this is the thing, right? He's coming now. I'm a United fan. I don't watch Arsenal week in, week out. So I can't exactly comment on how well Emery is doing, because I only see some games. But I can see what he's trying to do. But the problem that Emery has had, in my opinion, is that he hasn't had the players to play the system that he wants. Now, if you remember the Chelsea game away last season, was it the second game? It was the second, the 2-2, wasn't it? It was a 2-2.
So it was 3-2 away. 3-2 away. But we played miles better than them, but they won 3-2 away from them.
But you noticed that he was using his fullbacks a lot, getting forward, putting that ball across the face of the goal. You had 2 wide men coming inside, basically narrowing the pitch a bit, but allowing your fullbacks to get forward. For me, that looks like the system that he wants to use, which is why he signed Tierney, who's a fantastic fullback. He'll get forward and he'll get a lot of assists this season. I think Bellerin defensively is still poor, but going forward, he'll offer a lot. So
agreed. I think people forget that Bellerin isn't great going backwards, but going forwards is excellent.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you saw Atletico Madrid in the second leg in Spain, how he was at fault for that goal. And, they say that some defenders that have got pace, they can rely on the pace when they've got themselves into a situation, but he was too far in front of the ball. But anyway, I digress. Once he's got his fullback sorted, I think you'll see steadier progression, because you'll know exactly how he plays. I know people are saying we don't want him to play a diamond in midfield, but let's get it right here. Liverpool, Man City, 2 teams play 3 central midfielders that are very dynamic, very good at winning the ball back. And if you want to counter them, you have to press them. You have to pressurize them. And if you're going to play a diamond in midfield, it would work. You've got someone like Guendouzi that pulls the strings. You've got Granit Xhaka that's good at distributing the ball. Your only problem, as far as I'm concerned, in midfield is who's going to be your number 10, Ozil or Ceballos. And for me, Ceballos has done more than enough to be a regular. I just had a big explosion. I don't know what's going on in London.
Especially your neck of the woods, it could be anything. That's a point on that, Claude. Do you like Ceballos as a player? Do you think he's a better option?
Yes, I do like him, but I do like him, and I thought he started quite well. Then he got dropped, and then I don't know what was going on. I like him, and I like Joe Willock as well. I think Joe Willock, to me, has come in and done a really great job as well. But I don't know whether the coach trusts him as much. I'm afraid, but I also think Saka's been very impressive as well.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd definitely play him at Old Trafford. He's got no fear. He's got this boy. He's very good. And I don't know. I mean, sorry about it. So you lot keep cutting out on here. Sorry about it. I've got a really bad connection here tonight. I really do apologise.
No worries. No worries. Okay. Well, moving forward to the game. Let's think about the game. Let me come to you first, Stel, before I come to Claude, because I know what I'm going to ask Claude. Stel, in terms of how you think you're set up, because the other thing I've noticed about you guys, you've gone quite defensive all of a sudden. And
well, hold on, that was a criticism. That was the criticism of Jose, wasn't it? That he's too negative.
Yeah. But Ollie seems to be getting a pass for this type of stuff. That's a lot. This is a lot of the reason why, in theory, and I know Freddie's supposed to be an amazing coach, I don't want him as an Arsenal manager for one simple reason. I don't want this idea that he can get away with shit just because he's a legend. No, he should be criticized the exact same way as Jose would have been, or in your case. So, in terms of Monday, do you think you will go defensive against? Let's be real. On paper, we're excellent attacking side. The reality is still a little bit different in terms of our defense, especially. But what do you think Arsenal will do, and how do you think we'll set up?
How do I think Arsenal will set up?
How do you think you will set up to counter Arsenal?
Oh Christ! I think he's going to go 4-5-1. That's how I think he's going to play.
Wow!
Yeah, I think he'll go 4-5-1. But the thing is, I was thinking about it more logically, and I don't think it's going to happen. But in my opinion, if I was him to stop you guys, I would have Roja at left back and put Daniel James left wing. Because the only way we're going to hurt you is in your right back area. Bellerin hasn't travelled. I think he played in the under-23 today, didn't he?
Yeah, he's never playing that game. Yeah, you're probably Mason Chambers, to be fair,
or Maitland-Niles because he's back from suspension, isn't he?
I don't know. Is he still injured?
Oh, is he injured? I don't know.
But even still, in inverted commas, because I'm not entirely convinced he is injured. But
this is it. I mean, if it was Daniel James against Callum Chambers in a foot race, there's only one winner in this one.
Winner. So, yeah, that's my worry.
Exactly. So I think we'll put Daniel James at left wing and Roja at left back to give Pepe a few kicks, because I think that's the only way we're going to stop him. And on the right hand side, I'm hoping that we'll play Wan-Bissaka and Ashley Young wide right, so that we can contain Tierney going forward, because as much stick as Ashley Young gets, I think he's been a good servant to the club. He's a 7 out of 10 player, and I know it's not good enough for United, but he puts in a shift. He doesn't shrug any responsibility. He's a consummate pro. You never see him in trouble with the media and whatnot, and he tries. And I think that he'd do a job defensively when it comes to tracking Tierney and getting forward. And he'll give Tierney something to think about as well. The guy, even though he's fully fit, welcome to the Premier League. It's a different game. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Mason Greenwood will start up front on his own. As I said before, it's so much responsibility on a 17-year-old man. And you know what? I'm just going to say this: these United stands, these full-time Devils, whatever, they have this irritating habit of hyping up these youngsters that have come out of our academy, and they're basically setting them up for a big fall. I hear about Gomez. Okay, Gomez is a half-decent little player, but I've seen Gomez play in the Premier League, and he's been brushed off the ball like a packet of quavers, honestly. And they're putting so much pressure on these kids like Chong. Chong came through the ranks last season. He got a couple of little games here and there, and people saying, oh, yeah, he's going to be, these full-time Devils, the United stand, oh, he's going to be a fantastic player. All right, he hasn't pulled up any trees, and all of a sudden this rants and wanks guy is calling him shit. I'm like, for fuck's sake, man. What are you doing? You want to big these youngsters up, and then when they do play, they don't perform to under 23 level when they play against people their level, and then you start shitting on them. So again, Mason Greenwood up front, he's a good player. He's got a lot of potential, but you're killing the guy. Killing the guy. So put him up top against David Luiz or Socrates or whoever the fuck you've got there. They're going to batter him, and he's already knackered. He was blowing out of his arse after an hour against Rochdale the other day because he's played too many games. So what are we going to do? Are we going to play the dancing boy up front? Because that's all he's good at doing lately, dancing. Who? We'll play him. That's all he's good at doing, dancing. So,
but we do have a habit of making him look world class for some stupid reason.
Listen, I've been saying this for a long time, right? For as long as I can imagine. okay, he scored a cup final goal for us. Great. Scored the winning goal in the cup final. He scored the goal in the Carling Cup final, the Carabao Cup final. But his antics off the pitch, he isn't a Man United player. His behaviour on the pitch, okay, he has had some very good games for us. I'm not going to deny it. Under Jose, he was pretty decent. But again, his attitude stinks. I don't like his behaviour. It's just everything about him. I can't stand him. Maybe I just don't like him. Maybe that's why I'm just picking him out. But I'm just saying, like, he isn't a Man United player. He really isn't a Man United player. And a lot of players that we've got at the moment aren't Man United players. But then I look at Arsenal, I'm thinking, you lot have got some players that aren't Arsenal players. That Greek Phil Jones ain't an Arsenal player. That David Luiz ain't an Arsenal player. I could go on forever, And I take back what I said about Aubameyang. He's the real deal at the moment, isn't he? He really is.
Oh yeah, he's. I'll tell you what, I'm very impressed by him. He seems to really be relishing this idea of just taking that responsibility on. I can't believe I'm having to say this in the chat just because I'm glancing at what's happening. Edward, calm down, relax. Keeps threatening to boot people out and stuff. Be easy. Well, I'll take that mod stuff off you, I tell you. Anyway, sorry. I can't believe I'm having to do that. Claude, I think Stel makes a huge point about his fans, especially overrating some of their kids. What do you think about the way we're rating our kids? Because obviously people are very excited by your Martinellis, your Sakas, your Nelsons, your Willocks, people like that. Do you think we are overhyping our squad, our youngsters a little bit? Because I've even seen a couple of people in the chat saying we shouldn't play Saka because maybe Saka might be overawed by the whole Old Trafford experience, and maybe we should look to play someone like Nelson or Martinelli or someone like that. What's your opinion on that? Because you said yourself that you'd play Saka. So I'm wondering what your opinion is on our youngsters.
So is that for me? Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, good. That's for you.
Is that for me, Chris?
Yeah, that is.
Oh, sorry, Chris. See, because you're cutting up. I think if they're good enough, they're old enough. You know how I am. I think Saka, I don't think he'll freeze on occasion. If it's Joe Willock at Anfield, he didn't freeze, did he? I thought he had a great game at Anfield. Joe Willock was one of the only players that played really well on the day.
Yeah, one of the few. Yeah, I agree.
I think what Emery's going to do on Monday, I think he'll go with Leno in goal. I think he'll go with Maitland-Niles because I think because of his pace, he'll play. Let's see if he's fit. Is he fit? Maitland-Niles is fit.
Maitland-Niles, no, he's still injured apparently.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. He's still injured apparently.
I think, he'll go with. I think the centre halves. I would play Holding and I would play Holding and Chambers at the back, but I don't think he's going to do that. I've got a feeling he's going to play those two, the Chuckle brothers at the back. I think so. In Louise and Socrates. So this is where I'm going to. And then you've got, and I think he'll play. Hopefully, he'll play Kieran Tierney. I think what he'll do, he'll play Xhaka and Torreira as the two. Then he'll play Ceballos, Saka, and who else is it? Who was I going to think on that? Ceballos, Saka, and Guendouzi, and I think he'll play Aubameyang in the 4-2-3-1. That's how I think he'll play. It's not that I would agree with it. I wouldn't have those two centre halves in. If it was down to me, I'd play Holding and Chambers, but he won't do that. You know, he won't do it. And that's how I think he'll go. But the only thing that worries me, as I said, Stel, is it Stel? I'm sorry, is that your Stel?
Yeah.
So is Daniel James against our fullback? If he comes down that side, he'll be coming down that side when he on Maitland-Niles or whoever's playing there, and that's going to
That's
worry
right,
a
yeah.
bit.
Do you like Daniel James?
You don't know what type of game, and the thing is, you don't know what type of game. Fantastic one game, and the next minute he couldn't care less, and that's Pogba for you. You don't know what type of game he's going to produce. He could, but I can't see them really giving us. We've gone to Old Trafford before, Chris, in the past, looking at a much better team. I remember a few years ago when we went there, we all said we thought we were going to do them, but it's only Marcus Rashford's second game. What happens? He scored 2 goals and we got completely destroyed. I don't know what to think about it. I'm feeling it's going to be a draw, you know.
Okay, wow.
I don't know what Stel thinks.
I think we're going to get turned over. I think it's going to be a convincing victory for Arsenal, to be fair. We can't score goals. And the players that we have in the team that are supposed to be scoring goals can't score goals. So where does that leave us? I mean, as I said before, I'm not going to pin my hopes on the 17-year-old, and he'll get absolutely bullied with Mason Greenwood. I keep talking about Marcus Rashford on Twitter because I don't rate him. I really, really don't rate him, and people have always got on my back about him, and they're saying, "Oh, give him a chance and whatnot." But just watch him as a centre forward. Just watch him as a centre forward. His movement inside the penalty area is dreadful. He's the only player with pace that I've seen that gets the ball and runs away from goal. He always tries to make the angle fight for himself. I cannot understand why. There have been numerous occasions where a ball has been put across the box, nowhere to be seen. He isn't a centre forward, and again, Jose was right. He played in wide left. Why? Because that's his best position. But you know, what can I say? I mean, clearly, Twitter knows more than Jose Mourinho. That's won Champions Leagues. But you know,
yeah, I am
Can
worried.
I ask Stel something? Stel, sorry, can I ask Stel?
Go ahead.
Is it true that Rashford and Martial?
Say it again, Claude. You cut out of that.
No, is it true that Martial and
yeah, they're both out, mate. They're both out.
Yeah,
they're both out. Pogba's out as well, I've heard.
What you'll be playing, Greenwood up front.
Yeah, Green. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much. He'll probably. I mean, if we're gonna go 4-2-3-1, which I guess he will. I mean, I wouldn't play that, but he'll probably go Matic and Fred and McTominay in the middle of the park, or he might even go with Lingard in behind. I mean, that could be the possibility. Playing Daniel James on the left, Mata on the right, Lingard in behind Mason Greenwood, and with I don't know McTominay and Fred, or McTominay and Matic. See, we don't have options. We don't have options. And it all stems down to the owners. I mean, see, this is what I don't understand, right? John Lennon was shot from point blank range in a park in America in front of hundreds of people, and yet Ed Woodward can walk around Manchester with no problem whatsoever. How does that work?
Flipping heck. We're not endorsing that anyone shoots Ed Woodward, by the way.
I am. I will pay you.
No. This is the sort of shit that gets my flag flag. I'm not saying that. We're not saying that. Fucking hostile. Bringing your North London South into this damn chat.
You can always have Ivan Gazidis.
I was going to say, it could be worse. It could be worse. It could be worse.
They're not doing too well, are they, with him there?
All right. So normally, let's move this kind of towards the conversation of what our ideal 11 would be. Now, obviously, Claude mentioned earlier what we think the manager would do, but I never like to play that game. I like to do what I would do, what team I would put out in an ideal situation. So with that in mind, Stel, what would be your ideal team to play against Arsenal on Monday?
Crikey. Well, we'll have to go with De Gea in goal because he signed a new contract, and his little fuck boy is pissed off, hasn't he? The coach, the goalkeeping coach, he's fucked off, which is good. But perhaps we'll have a goalkeeping coach that will teach him about starting positions. Yeah, you ever heard of that, Dave? Starting position. That means if you've got a good starting position, it means your defenders don't have to drop deep to compensate for your stupidity. So it'll be De Gea in goal. Back four will be Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Harry Maguire, and he'll probably go Ashley Young, but I'd go for Rojo. But he'll go with Ashley Young because that makes sense. Midfield, oh Christ. He'll probably go with a mobile midfield. I don't think Matic will play, so he'll go Pereira, Fred, and McTominay. And, oh God, up top, Lingard, Christ, James, and Greenwood. Yeah.
Okay. I've got so Lingard playing. Damn it. Claude, what would your ideal 11 be? Forget what Emre would do. What would you do going on Monday?
I would play. The only thing is, if I didn't have Daniel James, I would have played Chambers at right back. But I'll go Maitland-Niles. I would go Maitland-Niles at right back. We know Leno in goal. That's a given, isn't it? I'd have Kieran Tierney in left back, and I would have Holding and Chambers at the centre halves. I would go Torreira. I would go Torreira at the base of the midfield. I would go Torreira, Ceballos, and Joe Willock.
Okay.
And I would go Saka, Aubameyang, and who's the other one over there? No, I'm going wrong here. Oh, sorry, wait a minute. Sorry, I'm going wrong. Sorry. I'd go to four at the back, yeah?
Stepanov, Luzhny.
I would go... Sorry, I'm going wrong here. I'm going wrong. I would go...
No worries.
Pereira, Guendouzi, and Ceballos. But I'm thinking Jack Willock or Ceballos. So I think I'd just about go Ceballos for this particular game, and I would go Saka, Aubameyang, and who else would I go?
Pepe?
I'm having a
Pepe?
Oh, sorry, I forgot all here. Yeah, sorry, Pepe. Why am I forgetting Pepe? Jesus Christ, Pepe. Sorry, Pepe. I'm really going. My brain's going tonight.
No worries.
And Saka, and the three. I wouldn't have Xhaka in the team at all. But he's not going to do it, is he? Because he's just named him captain, and he thinks he's the best player we've got. So we'll have to just put up with it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, boys. It's just that my head's not right at the moment.
No problem. My ideal 11 would probably be Leno in goal. Then it gets hard. I trust Callum. I trust him. Purely on the basis we have no other option. I trust him. So I'd go Chambers. I'm going to pick one of the Chuckle brothers. I'm going to go with David Luiz. Oh gosh, I'm going to go with David Luiz. I'm going to go with him.
It's a time bomb.
I know. I just think that fucking Socrates' form is so bad. I can't trust him.
He is so bad.
He is so bad. But I have to go Luiz. So I'm going to go Luiz. I'm going to go Holding. And then I'm going to go, obviously, Tierney, who I think will soon become the best left back in the league. Quote me. I don't give a damn about Robertson. Quote me.
The new Kenny Sampson.
I'll tell you, I'm so... that's the one I'm gassed about. That's the one I'm going to overhype right now. I love him. Then Then I'm going to go Guendouzi, Willock, Ceballos, even though I know Granit Xhaka won't play because he's Emre's love child. And then the three up top will be Pepe, Aubameyang, Saka, just because he's the exciting, unpredictable one that I don't think United will be prepared for. So I'll go for Saka. I will go for it.
What was your midfield there? What was your midfield, Chris?
Ceballos, Guendouzi, Willock. No Torreira. No Torreira.
But who's holding?
I'm going Guendouzi in that holding spot.
Ooh.
I know it's risky.
Has he got this?
I just think sometimes with Torreira, and this is why I've left him out. Sometimes with Torreira, because I know someone's just literally asked me the same thing. No Torreira. The reason I've gone with no Torreira is because I think he has a habit. Me and Lee were talking about this the other day of getting caught out of position. So a lot of the time when people say, "Oh, he's made an amazing track back," this, that, and the other, it's because he's often out of position. Whereas I think Guendouzi is much better at holding a defensive midfielder shape. I can see 100%, and I think he's better actually at linking the defense and midfield. He's much better, especially when Granit Xhaka's not playing, at dropping deep, collecting the ball from the defense, and then starting plays. And I just think with Torreira, to me, this is my opinion. This will probably get video dislikes. This is just my view, people. I think Torreira is slightly overhyped. That's just my opinion. A good player, no more than a good player.
Bleacher Report
The trouble is, Chris. Oh, sorry.
Say that again.
Bleacher Report.
The trouble is, Chris. If you're going to play,
Go on.
The trouble is, Chris, if you're going to play Jack, we know he's going to play Xhaka. You've got to play Torreira, not Guendouzi with him. You cannot play Xhaka and Guendouzi.
Don't get me wrong. This is just what I would do. But like you said, because Granit will play, then yes, in that instance, you play Torreira. But I think because I wouldn't play Xhaka, I think that takes the compliment. I just don't like all three of them playing, which I know is what he's going to do tomorrow. He's going to play Torreira. So he may play Torreira, play Guendouzi, and play Xhaka. And I think that midfield don't work. And that's my concern there. And he might do something odd, like play Ceballos on the left or some shit. I honestly think he'll do some weird shit like that. I really do. I just got a bad feeling about
that. He's your coach, he's not mine. This is your coach.
No, but listen, to me, it was him or Arteta. And I still think just about I would have preferred him. Only just.
You know what, Chris? I'll take Arteta.
Oh my gosh. No, not yet. Not from
at least Arteta will know we had a certain style of play. This guy hasn't got any style of play, has he?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I can. And yes, Joe, I know he does, but he's not a left midfielder. I know Ceballos plays there. I know.
I'm nearly saying bring back Wenger, all is forgiven.
Oh my gosh. All right, easy. Easy.
I'm reaching that point.
Speaking of which, Stel.
Yeah.
New Man United manager, Arsene Wenger?
Don't be silly. Don't be silly. Do you know what? The worst thing about it is, right, you remember this actually.
Yeah.
I never actually chastised Wenger in terms of his managerial ability. When you guys are all Wenger out, I was saying, look, he's the only criticism I had of Wenger was that he hadn't moved with the times.
Yeah.
And you notice this, and it's, I hate bringing up Ferguson because there's always these comparisons between great managers. But the one thing Ferguson did so well is that he adapted to whichever situation that he came across. So, for example, when we won the league in 92, 93 and 93, 94, Blackburn came along with their millions and they won the league, but he wrestled it back. Then after Blackburn came Newcastle, and there was that challenge. So he adapted to their style of play. And after Newcastle, it was Arsenal. You know, we had that back and forth with you guys for years, but he overcame that. Then it was Chelsea. He overcame them. And then Man City, and he overcame them. Wenger, he never retained the title at Arsenal. And for me, that is not winning a European competition isn't the bad thing for Wenger. I think not retaining the league title is because it's easy to win the league. Okay, it's not easy to win it, but it's more difficult to retain it. And he never did that. No matter how great you had that invincible season, you didn't kick on from that. And again, that's down to Wenger because he didn't refresh the squad. He never brought in hungry players. He always used to stick to the same core group, which is understandable. But at the same time, he was let down. He let himself down. And that's the one criticism I had of him. He was never able to move with the time. So when when Abramovich came with the millions, it was like a shock to him because he revolutionized the English game. But here comes this oligarch, and he's come in with that blood money, and he's spent millions of pounds. You know, brought in Mourinho, sacked Ranieri, brought in Mourinho, and he just totally just blew everyone away. And then obviously came the Arabs with City, and then they just stepped up another level. So even Chelsea was struggling. So he was never able to cope with that. Forget the UEFA Cup final against Galatasaray. Forget the Champions League final against Barcelona. You know, that was a great Barcelona team, man. It was a great Barcelona team even then. You know, and
we outplayed them. That was what hurt so much. We outplayed
10 men, and you know, Henry missed a couple of chances. And okay, I get it, but you know, this is football, man. You know, look, these things happen. But again, the main criticism I have of him on the pitch, not off it, on the pitch, is that he wasn't able to move with the times. You know, and then he made the stupid decisions like to sign your Squillacis and all these other fucking players, which put you in the situation that you're in right now, to be fair. But as a United manager, no. I mean, you know, first of all, it would never happen. You know, he's got a reputation. Why would you want to? And if he comes in, right, let's be honest, he was restricted under Gazidis. Can you imagine what he's going to be dealing with this guy, with this fucking plank? Honestly.
Yeah.
As I said, if they want to assassinate JFK from 300 meters away or 400 meters, why can't they get this guy from point blank? I don't understand. Forget it.
Again, we do not endorse that on this channel. Flip it. Right. You guys all right to stick around for 10 minutes and we do a quick Q&A with these guys because they seem eager, they seem active to put questions in the chat.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. Inject it in my veins.
All right, no problem. You guys put any questions you want to ask Claude and Stel in the chat. I'll highlight them and we'll ask it, and we'll stay for like another 10 minutes or so. Yeah. So any questions in the chat, please do stick a massive like on this video. Drive those likes up, people, if you're enjoying the content. If this is the first time you're listening, please do hit the subscribe button as well.
Okay, it's okay because Tottenham's the first game on Match of the Day. I don't really want to upset.
No problem. We'll be done by the end of that game. Don't worry about that. Right. First things first, just a quick reply to AJ. The reason I'd play Holding is very simple. He's had the time. He's had the 2 or 3 under 23 games. He's had the game on Wednesday to rehabilitate himself. And unfortunately, our defense is shit. Needs must. So we need him to play. There's no easing him back in slower than he has been eased back already. That's why I'd throw him in against Old Trafford. So if that disappoints you, oh well. Claude, this is a question that's come in from Annie Raja. I hope I've said that right.
Yeah.
I probably haven't. No. Would you take Brendan Rodgers to replace Emre?
Ooh. I think he's done a brilliant job at Leicester. Actually, I weren't one of his biggest fans, but he's done a really good job at Leicester. He's turned them around, hasn't he? I don't think he's Arsenal though. I don't think he's a big level. He didn't exactly do well at Liverpool, did he? No, not for me, mate. Not for me.
I'd be more prepared to take him now than I would have been 12 months ago when we were originally linked with him. Because like you said, I think he's now taken up a second job at Leicester, done really well with them, and I'm a little bit more impressed. So yeah, let's see. Let's find out. And anytime you're ready to find out, mate, I'm ready. I'll play you at FIFA, no problem. M. Fry, I see your question. All right. Gosh, questions flying, and that was the mistake I made. Thank you for the donations, VP. I see you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but Claude, do you play FIFA?
I try to, mate, but I get stuck on the buttons, mate. I'm sorry, mate. I did try. When I had a game with Ty. When he beat me, I thought that was the end. That was my retirement from it.
Okay. This is another question for Sel. You probably understand lots of Claude fans on here.
That's fine, man. There's actually one for me. Why does Stel always talk about killing? David,
I wasn't going to read that, but anyway.
I'll answer that one. David, if we're ever in Cyprus together at the same time, come hunting with me. You're more than welcome.
YouTube, I don't subscribe to this message. Don't flag my shit, motherfuckers. I see you.
Fuck YouTube.
Ozzy Guna.
Twitter.
Question for Claude. How are you enjoying being part of Blood Brothers? Love seeing you on there.
No, it's good. It's a good thing. Gets me out gets me out of the house. It gets me going, doing things. Yeah, it's good. They're good. They're a good team at the AFTV. They're a good side. They're good to work with. Hopefully we can win the little league that we're in at the moment. But yeah, it's an enjoyable experience.
Yeah. Okay. Another one for Claude. Don 1. Question for Claude. What made you change your position on Kroenke? Isn't it obvious where the poison comes from? Lays at the club, I should say.
Chris, can I just make this clear? I never wanted Kroenke in the first place, yeah?
Yeah.
But once you give a bloke 100%, there's no way of getting him out. Also, in his defence, and I've got to say this, right? There's 130 odd million has come out this summer, hasn't it?
Agreed.
You cannot. He's not a football man, so he has to put the trust. He gives the money to the people underneath him, and he's got to put he's trusting them to get the players that he's giving the money to. And if these people underneath him are not getting the right players, you can't exactly blame Kroenke for that, can you?
Agreed. I think you said it best.
This is where I stand. I didn't want him in the first place, but no one was complaining when he took over, were they? No one was complaining then, and now they're all complaining about him. I didn't want him in the club. I would have rather have the Russian guy take over. But if you realise, everyone goes on about David Dean, but David Dean was the one that got him in the first place, if you remember rightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he suggested it to the board, and the board told him we don't want any Americans in, and then they sold out to him, didn't they?
Yeah.
And people like Nina Bracewell-Smith, they sold their shares to him, and then after they're complaining about the state of the club, well, why did she sell her shares to him? You know what I'm saying? And once he took over 100% of the club, there's no getting rid. And you can have all the banners you want in the world, right? But if he's got 100%, there's no way he's going out.
Agreed.
The only way he's going to go out if there's empty seats, and even then, it's still money coming in, because what will happen is if 40,000 people decide they don't want to go tomorrow, there's another 40,000 on the waiting list waiting to take over. So listen, you cannot complain about Kroenke this year. He's given the money. 130 million has gone. We paid 72 million for Pepe, nearly 30 million for Tierney. We bought Louise. Who else did we buy?
Saliba, or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, Saliba's not even here yet. So you can't blame it. He's given those people underneath him the money. Now, if they decide they'd rather spend 70 million on a winger rather than get a centre half, or actually what I think we need is a proper holding midfield player.
Yeah, me too.
They're not that expensive. Look at Leicester; they bought one for 8 or 9 million, didn't they? So,
True.
do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, if the people underneath him, I think there's too much made of Kroenke. It wasn't Kroenke's fault that we didn't get over the line last year. That's the coach. And if we were in the Champions League, and if we were in the Champions League this year, we might have even got even better players as well. So let's not just blame Kroenke for it.
Fair. Well said. Well said. My sentiments exactly. Stel, we've got some rapid fire questions for you. Okay. Actually, well, before I start on the rapid fire, this one's a good question for you. Now, no, not that one. Sorry, excuse me. Hold on.
Why have you got the ISIS SG question up?
Hold on. Wait a minute. I ain't put the right one up. Hold on. Do you think if Pep got the Man United job, can he turn them around?
No fucking chance. No fucking chance whatsoever. Because as Jose said, if Guardiola wanted to spend £100 million on fullbacks, he'd get it at Man City. Would he get it at United? No.
Okay.
As I said before, the players that Guardiola wants at City, he gets.
He gets, yeah. And he's always been at clubs.
Exactly. And let's not forget another thing, which is very, very important. When Guardiola wants a player gone, they go.
Yeah.
When Man United managers want players gone, they end up signing new contracts.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we've got Bill and Benson on our books.
Another question for you. I like rants, but hey, let's ask the United fan. My question is, after the game on Monday night, who do you think is the biggest attention-seeking video? Ransom Pants. That's him saying that right away, Archie. Or Mark Goldbridge, or another.
Well, I don't watch them because I'd rather shit in my hands and clap.
Oh my gosh!
Well, I prefer Goldbridge.
I don't think we thinks of me.
No, Claude, I've got no problem with you whatsoever, man. No problem whatsoever. I actually quite enjoy your stuff, especially when you have a go at what's his face, the one that wears the headphones. I forget his name. Yeah, him
as well, mate.
Comedy gold. And I think Goldbridge is very good at what he does because I don't think he takes himself that serious. Whereas the other gentleman, who shall not be named, I have my views on him, and I don't want to go into it because it could get messy.
Okay.
Yeah, I prefer Goldbridge because he, as I said, he doesn't take himself serious. And
I like Goldbridge as well, by the way. I do like Goldbridge.
And you know, I'm going to be fair here because to see how far he's come from where he was originally in terms of building up a profile, building up a following, and making good money from what he does, I've got to salute him. I mean, it's very difficult. As you know, YouTube is a very volatile environment. You know, if you don't have enough followers, if you don't have subscribers, and YouTube keep changing their rules, fuck you, YouTube. And at the end of the day, you know, it's very difficult to make money from it, and he's doing it. And good luck to the guy. You know, he gets abuse. He gets called all sorts of names. I mean, people bring his family into it, which is absolutely disgusting. So I've got to take my hat off to the guy and say, well done. You know, you've made something yourself. You know.
Okay. One more for Stel. Would you rather United squads or Arsenal squads, Stel?
Well, we don't have a squad, do we? What squad do we have? What squad do we have? You know, as I said before, we got a goalkeeper that gets beaten at his near post. You know, one of our best central defenders is always injured. Fullbacks, we're relying on a teenager or a 20-year-old to hold down a place, even though Valencia occupied it for 6 years longer than he should have done. We've got Paul Pogba that really doesn't want to be at the club, and I don't blame him, to be fair. And then, you know, we're putting our hopes in the 17-year-old up top. And then you've got Jesse Lingard, who is more focused on building a brand. So... yeah, and then there's Martial. Yeah, less said about him the better, I think.
Okay. This one's there's kind of two for Claude and I. They're kind of related, so I'm going to put them both up. And that's John Isaac, who says, Claude, Wouldn't you rather play Martinelli over Saka as he offers more energy and he scored 2 goals against Forest? And then I suppose in conjunction with that, Guna Michael, good friend of the show, he says, question for Chig and Claude, are you both not worried about Saka being pocketed by Wan-Bissaka? Wan-Bissaka is probably their strongest defender, to be fair. So it is a reasonable question.
Well, no, with Saka, I don't think there's anyone else that can play. Even Nelson would, if you put Nelson in, probably it wouldn't be any better, would he? No, I'm confident that Saka can take him on. What was the other thing? Martinelli, okay, he done very well on different type of players, really. I think anyway, but
yeah,
he done very well. He done very well on the other night, but it's a different kettle of fish. This is the League Cup. They had half their team out as well, didn't they? So it's you can't really take too much into it. Although I thought I was very impressed with him, and as much as I was impressed with Kieran Tierney, considering it's his first game after a long layoff. Martinelli has still got a lot to learn. I think it's too early for Martin.
Okay, interesting. I can see why. I'm not too against the idea of putting a young, exciting talent like Saka up against Wan-Bissaka. We can always change it if it's not working. So I get it. I know people are quite gassed by Martinelli, but I'm also, like Stel said earlier, for his youngsters, I'd like Arsenal fans to just be easy, calm down. Let's see how Martinelli matures, responds. He played all right almost a week ago now, but let's just see how he continues to develop. At least Saka has been with us longer. He's part of the squad longer. He's played Premier League games. Now let's see how he continues to develop with it. I say, listen, don't write Saka off as some lightweight, people. You know, I think he's better than that. I think he deserves more respect than that too. So let's see what happens. Lots of people want to see a boxing match with you and Rance now still. Fucking hell.
Well, I think I'm too old for this game, man. I'm like Holyfield. He's like Anthony Joshua. No point. No point. I'm too old for this shit. Where's Claude gone? I'll box Claude. I don't mind boxing Claude. You want to box?
I don't know. Where's Claude? Oh, no. Well, hopefully, let's see. Probably. You're still there. Oh, okay, there you go. No worries. We're going to wind down now anyway. We're going to wind down now. Thank you so much for all the questions, guys. Let me get final predictions from you guys before we get up out of there. Final predictions. Stel, honestly, genuinely, give me a scoreline.
I'm going to stick to what I said yesterday on Ryan's show. I'm going to say 3-1 Arsenal, and that one that we scored will probably be an own goal. So.
Please, from Stel's lips to God's ears, please. Claude, what do you reckon? Final scoreline prediction.
They're struggling to score. We're letting them in for fun. I'm going to say 0-0.
0-0. Okay. I don't blame Claude for that prediction. I'll be honest, I don't.
0-0. No, it'll be either 0-0 or 1-1. No, I'll go 1-1 because I think they will concede, and I think we will definitely concede. So I'll go 1-1.
I think it'll be 2-2 because Arsenal do some dumb shit like concede 2 goals. And you're like, how the fuck are we losing? And I know I'm going to say that at least once on Monday. I know I am. So I'm going to go 2-2. We have an Old Trafford mental block. If this was anywhere else but Old Trafford, I'd say we'd annihilate you. But Old Trafford, I don't know what happens to us there. So I'm going to go 2-2. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we win, but I just can't see it for some reason. I can't. Just to quickly highlight what's in the chat. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody who's been watching. Please do stick a like on this video before you get going. Stel, do you want to let the people know where they can find you? Because you always see followers every single time you come on the show, But
At home. No, I'm on Twitter at Uncle Stel because I'm your uncle, but not the one that touches you. Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. Thank you for everyone putting up with my shit. Nice meeting you, Claude.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and may the best team win.
And like people don't know where to find Claude, but Claude, do you want to let them know where they can find you?
Nice to meet Uncle Stel. Is it Uncle Stel they call you?
My niece and nephew do.
Hey. Sorry. No. Where can they find me? They can find me on Guna Claude TV. That's my channel. It's not the best at the moment, but it's getting there. And also on Claude AFTV1 on Twitter and Guna Claude on Instagram.
Both of their links will be, it's not in a moment, but they will be in the description below, including the name of Claude's channel.
It's been a pleasure speaking to both of you tonight.
Likewise.
Thanks for inviting me on.
Thank you, Claude. Thank you both for coming on. Guys, please do hit that subscribe button. You can follow me on Insta, Guna Eagle Eye. That is why it is down below in the brackets. So please do search for on Insta. You can follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. Again, all of our socials, our YouTubes, our podcasts and Stel's Case will be in the description below. So please do go check that out. All right. I'm out of here. We're out of here. Take care. Enjoy your Saturday night. Peace.
It's time to go.